February 28th. The timing, it is what it is. Mayor Jesse Alig, good morning.
Good morning. Did you
Oh,
go out this weekend to any restaurant?
I actually, okay, so yesterday I wanted to go eat Korean by myself. But the Korean place I went to, the door was open, but
Mm.
they were actually closed because I think the owner was having some of her friends over. So I didn't get to. How about you? Did you go around?
Yeah. After mass yesterday,
Oh,
we decided to check out a place, and I turned right around because the parking lot was full.
oh, it
I
was
mean,
full.
it was full.
Was this a brunch thing?
And yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Nice.
But it was. We had to go and look for a smaller place or another place, and it was good though. At the second place, but the first place, I tell you, it was full. So
Wow.
that's good. Just
Yeah, we
it's
had
good for business, right?
it is, and I think that's one thing that well, hopefully it will make an impact is these unvaccinated people. They've been saving their money for 7 months.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. There you go.
I mean,
Now you
Mayor,
can
we're
spend
kind
it.
of like laughing about it, but it's a big deal. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it's a big deal. I'm because I'm not unvaccinated. I can't relate, but I have a lot of friends who are unvaccinated, and I mean, they've carved a life anyway, regardless of where the governor, decided they can or can't eat, or where they can or can't go. My friends
yeah.
who are unvaccinated, they've been living their best life this whole time.
But I have to say though that when you look at I know that there was reports on like financial disclosure reports, right, for elected officials, and how we a lot of us, a lot of people had a little more money in previous years. Well, because we couldn't spend it, right? So you think about an average household. I think it's fair to say that it's possible, right? I mean, like you said, for 7 months they couldn't go out. I mean, eating out is expensive. I
Yeah,
mean, you can't go out with $100 anymore.
right.
Not with a family. That's for sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
that is.
even if you went to the regular diners, I don't think $100 is sufficient for an entire family.
I went on
So
a frozen yogurt date. It was just me and one other
yeah,
person, just two
yeah.
people, $20.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, which is
yeah,
way. I mean, I'm not even, but I've gone with the kids and spent
yeah.
$20. So I don't know what went up. It's almost like the ounce of yogurt is it's more expensive than the ounce of drugs
Worse.
nowadays.
Oh man, I don't know about that. It
Yeah,
could
you're
be. It's
right. You're right.
possible.
It
Well,
is.
it's true because drugs is not as expensive
But
anymore,
it's
right?
very
That's
cheap.
why.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Mayor, good morning, 747. So I just wanted to start. I know we asked about it a couple weeks ago, but what about the Liberation Day parade? Because I'm hearing things about, uh, well, just rumors, little hints that we might have a full on Liberation Day parade, but I know that you guys are always involved with that. So what have you heard just between us girls?
Just well, just between us, I haven't heard anything.
Come on, Mayor.
No, I have not. I have not. As a matter of fact, it's been a thought to actually get something going larger than what we anticipated, but it has not actually been a full on discussion, not on our end at least. We're taking a look at it. I think there's possibilities, and I've always said that we could do things a different way, and it's probably the time to do it now because we couldn't do it the traditional way because typically by now we've secured sponsors,
Right.
right? We've secured a lot of money by now, and not everyone has that much money anymore. And then on top of that, we typically have the raffle, right? The Liberation Queen raffle,
Right.
and that's usually rolling by now. And we certainly aren't doing that at this time. So as far as funding, I'm not sure how that's gonna roll, but we're
There,
certainly
Mayor,
looking.
there's no like ARP Liberation Day parade funding that wasn't in the guidance.
Yeah, well, could, but you know what? We could say because we the last 2 years were affected, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Right. Yeah, but Mayor, I mean, it's February. Well, it's March, and like you said, usually by this time, you guys have a whole bunch of things secured. Um,
Yeah, but it's just not on top of it's not the top priority, right? So
yeah,
it just kind of every time I bring it up at our meetings, you just look at all the faces. Nobody wants to say, "Oh, here, I'm ready to go."
Right.
They just
Yeah.
kind of like stare at you, right, until it's done, and they're like, "Hafu, what are we gonna do?" But yeah, no one really wants to go full on, right? Simply because it's when you don't get full on support from everywhere, right? And you just need everyone's support, and it's not just the governor's support. It's not just the government officials' support. It's financial support, right? And then it's also the will of the people. What do the people want? And if this is something that they want, then we should pursue it. So that's really what we're actively discerning. So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll know in the next couple of weeks how that's gonna go, how that's gonna turn.
What's the status with the ARP funds and you guys getting the money?
Well, it's still the same. I'll let you know once everyone's received their $100,000 and their $46,000, and how that's definitely what everyone's waiting for. As far as the vehicles, that's all being worked on by our main office and DPW, because all that it's not going to the 19 villages. It's just going to be procured by DPW. So that's actually, it's active. That part is active, but as far as the cash itself, that has not yet been drawn down by the villages. But as soon as that happens, I'll let you know. But so, one thing that I did want to share with you, that I mentioned earlier, was this bill 156 that we've been toiling with. And 156 is really it's a bill conveniently introduced by Senator Ada, but it was introduced almost a year ago, I think.
This is the nuisance bill, right? And so this
nuisance, yeah.
This bill would give the mayors the authority to kind of like label things a nuisance. Like, give us an example if you could, Mayor.
One of the things that we get a call all the time is, my neighbor's playing loud music and it says past midnight.
Right.
Well, you know what? We can't, even if you call the police, the cops are going to come over and say, well, they're just going to kindly remind the neighbor that it's past midnight. But there's no other authority, right? Can't give them a citation for no violation. And so those types of things are included in this bill. What about the abandoned vehicle that's parked in front of my house that doesn't belong to me, right? So there you go. That's a nuisance.
Wow.
And nobody can remove it because it's owned by somebody. Right. And so now, and that's what the Attorney General is saying to us is, well, now you can't just remove any of those vehicles on easement because it's not yours and you need permission to move it. And so if, we can cite the owner now, I mean, if 156 is passed, but I see where some of my colleagues have a problem with it because it just gives us more work, right? The onus again becomes ours when we go over and we say, okay, Chris Barnett, you didn't move your car. We've asked you 10 times to move your car. Yeah. Here's a citation. And then, you can always take us to court.
Yeah, it does put you on.
It's just another layer. It's just more work, right?
So, Mayor, are there in this bill, because I haven't seen it, are there instances of is there something about, playing loud music after midnight or, the abandoned vehicle or, a dog?
No, it's very broad.
Wow.
It's very broad.
Wow.
Yeah, it's broad. But then, it's in concert with other agencies like EPA, Public Health, all those agencies that we assume have authority over this, and but they don't, and that's where we have a problem. Most of us really, because our residents call us and say, "Hey, can you help us?" But we can only go over there and say, "Hey, Chris, can you lower down your music?" Or, "Hey, Chris, can you move your car?"
But basically, what this is doing is giving you guys the authority to kind of create, quote unquote, like city ordinance on the spot, right? Exactly. So I guess traditionally how this would be done, I mean, and would you rather see it be done in a way where it's like black and white, playing your music after midnight, unless you have like a permit or something, is a public nuisance?
Oh, I would. Actually, we all would. But we're not at that point. I mean, it's 156 that we think can cover a lot, a large area of our responsibility, and that includes trash. Because when you take a look at what we can actually give citations for, it's not all types of trash. You'd have to really, be careful with how we do that. And so, there's a lot of stuff, and then it doesn't even include. perhaps Chris, you have a structure on your property that's falling, and it's clear that the tin roof is falling, and you're not moving it, and it's going to harm your neighbor's other tin roof because you're at the ranch, And so, can we come in and say, no, we can't tell you what to do on your property, but can we let you know that, hey, it's a nuisance and that you're going to harm your neighbor's property? Everything all within reason. For sure.
Did you bring up these concerns to Senator Tony Atta?
Oh yeah, we did actually. We brought this up to him to see how we could, together with the abandoned vehicle. That's a Bill 155, and so the Mayor's Council unanimously approved to support Bill 155, and that had a public hearing. But we feel that 155 and 156 work in tandem with each other because it's kind of helps us to 156, which declares the property or declares something a nuisance, kind of helps us with 155 as well in removing the abandoned vehicles, because that's where our bigger issues lie.
What's the status with the road repairs, the village road repairs?
Well, they're ongoing. As a matter of fact, they're in Hoggett right now. Hoggett is Hoggett is getting paid. We should bring on the Hoggett mayor sometime to talk about his new roads. Maybe by next week. Next week you'll have new roads.
That doesn't mean that drag racing is okay, guys.
Yeah.
I know when they get a new road in the south, the first thing you want to do is let's peel out on it.
Yeah. The one thing that I don't hear a lot about, which I think is so cool, is your latest podcast, or with Polly Eric, Electness Polly.
Thank you, Mayor.
And, hey, I think that's great. I think we need to tell everyone in the village to listen to it because the first one I couldn't stop laughing about it. About Chad. I think that has everything to do with the village because we hear about. So if you haven't heard it or you haven't listened to it, you should check it out.
Yeah.
And I must say that the second one about the nyinge, oh my gosh. Who didn't have an auntie or a grandma that wanted to kiss you even if you stunk?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Right? That was fun.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for that plug. Guys, he's talking about the latest episode of Electness Polly. It's Father Eric Forbes. It's his podcast, but then he asked me to be on it to kind of so he's not just in a room talking by himself. So that's why I'm on it, and it's great. We're really excited for the next episode.
Well, I think you complement each other, right?
Yeah.
You have the religious and the, well, I don't know.
Easy, Mayor, easy. Yeah, let's just go secular. That's good.
Yeah. Well, you have a good week.
Oh, I guess we're done here. Well, thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
You figured out a good way to get out of these interviews. Just a compliment, end with a compliment.
Got it.
Thank you, Mayor. There you go, Mayor Jesse Alig. Always a good time with Mayor Jesse Alig. And yeah, I think we will ask Mayor Kev of Hoggett to come on. And, we always try and get a lot of the mayors on, just kind of tell you what's going on in your neck of the jungle. 7:58. We did have some more comments in here, guys, on our Facebook Live feed. Thank you again for joining us. Chris Cave comments in here. This is relative to what I was talking about with the Governor Camacho, right, and the comments that he had made about lifting the mandates. Chris Cave comments. That's what I was saying, trying to beat the punch. Frank the Crank. Thanks, Frank, for watching this morning. We need to brush up on our